Yeah, picking cotton in camps, yeah.
Okay.
And, oh yeah, I say camps, yes, in camps. I remember out there at Littlefield, we were out there, and these wildcats would come down out of the mountains. I'm talking about they'd be about that long, cat, and they call them bobcats, yeah, because they didn't have no tail, they just had a bobtail back there. And shoot, at night around about 12, 1 o'clock, you'd hear them out there fighting and going on, calling all kind of noises and stuff like that. So one night I called myself going to step out there and throw at one of them. I stepped out the door. Oh, I guess about 3 minutes that box, out from the door there, and they was doing all that stuff, and I had me a stick, and I threw the stick out there, and when I did, shoot, some of them run, but one of them turned around and looked at me, and he started right toward me. And you know, when I went in the door and closed it, he hit up against the door, blam! He was trying to land on my back. They were mean. I never did pull that trick no more. Because our parents would tell us, whatever you do, get everything done. When you come in the house, we'll be in the house till in the morning. And I didn't know the reason for it, but shoot, that's what it was. Those cats would get you. They would get on a person. All that used to, it was terrible. And I think it was one gun in the whole camp, or the whole old house that we were staying. We'd just be staying in the old house. And you could look up and you could see the stars between them because there was no top on it, no roof. And all of us had our pallets and things around there on the floor. And shoot, you hear something. Well, shoot, you'd better get a shoe or something and hit it hard, because it'd be one of them old stingers with the tail turned up on their back. And if that thing stick you, you were hurt.
Oh, man.
And yeah, they have, 6 legs? Yeah, 3 legs on each side. And they'd pop their tail in you. They had something looked kind of like a fingernail on the top of their tail, and it was about that long. That was a stinger. And if he hit you, he'd run that whole stinger up in you. And you would have fever and everything else. They'd have to cut it just like they would if you'd get snake bit.
Did you ever see that happen
to
anybody?
No, I never happened.
Okay.
It never happened to me, no. None of us. I tell you what I did experience. I was out there when we had just got married. And I'm going to do like those the other guys was doing. I'm going to let my wife keep, hold on to it, keep our money, and she would get it, and she would tie it. I thought around the waist or do something with it to hold on to it, But somehow, it was about 2 weeks before we had to go back home. She lost it. Every dime of the money that we had worked for and saved, and I didn't know exactly how much money it was, but I know it was over $100, and $100 back then was a whole lot of money. And shoot, she lost it. And do you know, nobody out there would say anything about finding it. So somebody out there had to find it. Because we looked up and down cotton rows and all this stuff. And I don't know how in the world she could have lost it. Just careless, I guess, and kid. She was kind of a kid, like. So I think she was around, she was 16 when we got married. And I was about, I think I was 19. Yeah. And but she didn't do right. By me, she just didn't do right with me. I would go out sometime fishing, so we'd have fish for supper, to come back in. And shoot, I came in a lot earlier than I did one time, and I saw her. Well, I heard the guy when he went out the door, because I was around to the back. They must have heard me coming up back there or something, behind the house, my fishing poles and all. And he closed the front door and went on out. And I got around the corner of the house there. It was the old home place there in Ladonia. And I got around to the edge of the house there, and I saw him. Just he closed his door. And of course, by the time I got around the house there, well, she had she was standing in the door. I said, what's going on? You know, and anyway, I went on in the house, and she said that she was laying across the bed. But I don't know, I have my doubts about that even until now. Because why would her dress and all this stuff be all wrinkled up? Well, it could have happened in the bed, but I just didn't. And I might have been just young, jealous, and crazy. But what was he doing over at my house? You know, that's what. But anyway, I got through that, and finally we kept on this, that, and the other like that until I just decided to just go on and leave. So I just went on and left. And of course, when I went in the service, then she decided to. I came back on leave because when I came back on leave, well, I had been overseas and everywhere, and I came back here to Texas, and when I came back to Texas from a furlough, well, before going to my next base, which was in Alabama. I was going to be stationed in Alabama, Montgomery, Alabama. It was under Air University Command. And shoot, you know, when we came in from out, of course, buses changes and all this kind of stuff there. Well, first thing I ran into was in Abilene, Texas. Abilene, Texas. Myself and a couple of guys were in Japan, in Korea and Japan and Tokyo together. And shoot, I was the only one that was on that particular bus that was of color. And but I had my own uniform on. I had 2 stripes. I was a corporal. I had 2 stripes on. And I came in. Well, you know, at that bus station, that lady flat just went past me. The waitress did. Instead of asking me what I wanted, she went past me, and me and this other guy was talking there together. They had been over there all through this together. He was a white guy. Well, we were talking to one another, and so he got his food, and when he got his food, he asked me, "Reed, have you ordered yet?" I said, "No." I said, "I have nobody." And shoot, I tell you, that's when it got rough. I told him about that. He called that waitress, and she said, "We can't serve. We'll serve him over there." He said, "No, you're gonna serve him here." I said, "Oh, we'll tear this thing up."
Yeah.
And the other guy heard and said, "She said what?" And shoot, the guy started getting up there, and shoot, the manager running there, and he said, "No," I said, "Go ahead on it." And says feed him. Said he's Air Force. The guy said, "You better believe he's Air Force. We just come from overseas together." He said he's Air Force. You know, shoot. But anyway, that blowed on over. But now in Montgomery, shoot, we had different taxi cabs that one airman would have, and if you were a black airman, well, you couldn't ride on that taxi cab. The yellow cab would not.